But hello, everyone. Thank you for taking time to join us on this busy Wednesday afternoon. Great to see some familiar faces and some new faces alike. Also, it looks like we have some people from the OutSnap team and the Pictor team joining us. And I know I see Lisa in California. Kebra, are you back in Europe? Gotcha. So we have multiple hemispheres covered today that I can tell just from seeing faces. So, hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm going to go ahead and just take a peek. Zoom has this really wonderful feature where I'm allowed to ask you questions, but then it doesn't actually give me the responses, which is not very helpful. So if anyone has any questions about what we're about to do today on the front end that they want to share or ask, that would be great. Today we're going to be doing a little bit, if you came to bootcamp, it's going to be kind of a revamp of that same concept of how to create an AI video experience. Let me go ahead and just share this slide here. Oops. How to create an AI video experience without spending all the money on AI video, right? So it's about creating an experience that utilizes pre-existing footage that looks like a lot more AI output than it may actually be in real time. So does anyone have any questions on that before we get started? Nope. Cool. Hey, Michael. Hey, Chuck. Hey, Adam. Hey, Abel. Hi,
Hello.
iPhone. I'm assuming that's not your real name. Hey, Gerald. Cool. So one thing is it gets a little lonely up here because I'm staring at all your faces. And if you guys have questions, please do just unmute yourselves and shout out. And if I can answer them in real time, I will. If not, I'll park it and we'll come back to it towards the end. So the goal for today is how to create an AI experience with video and B-roll. Does everyone here know what A-roll and B-roll are? Show of hands. Okay, for those of you who are not nodding, able. A-roll, if you've ever seen a documentary, imagine they're interviewing a rock musician. What's considered the A-roll is the conversation that the person's having with the camera right there. And then the B-roll is they cut to them performing on stage. Same with the news, as you see, the A-roll, someone who's on the news anchor desk talking, and then it cuts to something else. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this in practical and AI use cases. So for example, for a TV network a handful of years ago for their anniversary, OutSnap did a project where we had A-roll and B-roll. In that case, the A-roll was people who recorded themselves in a virtual booth. And then the B-roll was news anchors who actually introduced themselves. And it was pre-recorded. And they said, "Hi, I'm such and such news anchor. And I'm here today with," and they would pass the microphone. And it would then cut to the video that we were recording in real time. And they would introduce themselves and they'd cut back and forth in a question and answer kind of Mad Lib scenario. So it looked like they were in the same room because we used AI to cut out the backgrounds and put them in the same similar news anchor space. Cool. So today we're going to walk through this scenario. If this was a real RFP that had come through to any of our companies, you'd likely be getting something that's more like, "Hey, we're launching this new Indiana Jones movie. There's this incredible scene where XYZ happens. We want to take the preview and put guests into it." So instead of that, since we don't have an existing structure to work with, we're going to be making the A and the B roll together today so you can see how that process would work. Great. I'm just letting some people into the room as well. And so as we go into that, we're going to come up with some ideas, whether we're going to do some sci-fi or otherwise. So the goal that we're going to walk away with is to make a movie trailer that we're in. So the other way to think about this is like, imagine you're watching the Super Bowl. One of those incredible commercials happens. There's a QR code at the end. It says scan this to participate. You scan the QR code, you take a quick selfie, and now you're the star of the commercial you just watched. So we talked about A-roll and B-roll. I like to get a jump start on these prompts using Perplexity. It's my AI of choice, although recently Claude and Anthropic have really been giving it a run for its money. I could talk about AI stuff all day long. We won't do that here. Or I should say I could talk about AI, LLMs, and other AI companies all day long. We won't do that here, but we are going to talk about AI video. So I'm going to use Perplexity. and it would work with ChatGPT or any of the other tools as well. So the overflow, the loop that we're going to look at, the overview is we're going to create some initial prompts with AI. We're going to generate the B roll. Then we're going to create the A roll script, and then we're going to add it all together in Pictor. So pick a theme. Who here has a favorite genre? Let's get some, turn on those mics and call out some stuff.
Action film.
Who is that?
Adam.
Cool. Action film.
Yep.
Okay. Give me a little bit more, Adam. What kind of,
I love the Bourne movies.
okay.
You know, even Mission Impossible, stuff like that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So we can go on that front. We'll make it a little bit sillier just so you can see how the AI would work. And then we're going to build that out. So once again, we're going to create now 3 B rolls. So we're going to create a title sequence. We're going to create a starring scene that we're going to add our text into. So you can actually put the name of the person at the event. We're going to have the star moment, which is the only AI experience that we're going to be making in real time at that particular event, and then the outro. So what we're going to do now is hop over to Perplexity and we're going to start to talk through some of these. Adam, we know it's going to be a little bit of a Mission Impossible Bourne identity. Who wants to come up with a name for this movie? Can be anything. I'm going to call on someone soon. Ian, how about you? Got a good name for an action flick?
The Bourne Impossibility.
Okay. We'll try it. So let's hop now over into Perplexity here and get going. I have another little install that I love. There, it's called Superwhisper. It works on Mac and PC. There's a free version which I've never I've never grown out of. If anyone's interested, and I'll share the link. But what I love about this is I, as a creative, can really go in circles and talk all over the place. And so I just dictate and brain dump, and then I give it to the AI and it makes sense of the thing I said. So I'm going to switch into dictation mode now and tell it what I want to do. Hey, so I am working on a prompting exercise for an interactive in this case, video experience. See, that's me making a mistake and it's going to fix that, even though I said it as a mistake. So we're working on this video experience. What I need to do is create 3 pieces of B-roll. The first is going to be a title sequence. The name of the movie is Bourne Impossible. It's kind of a riff on a Bourne Identity / Mission Impossible vibe. So that will give you an idea of the aesthetic we're looking for. So the first clip is going to be the title. We want that to come in and show Bourne Impossible. Then the next clip we need to make is a clip that says the word starring. And we don't want any words on that other than starring because we are going to actively put some text on that later. So we don't want the celebrity's name. We just want it to say starring. The third is going to be the first time we see the celebrity that's in this. This is the hero of the movie, and we want to create an action sequence with their face in it. And then the last clip is going to be more B-roll of an outro, maybe some giant explosion, and then the words coming to a theater near you. Hey, Sheree. So there's all my gobbledygook with all my mistakes and stuff that I wrote. I'm going to put that through, and we're going to start to see very quickly it create some prompts for us. So clip 1. And then one thing I'm going to do here is just iterate that. Please make sure that the setting and aesthetic of all of these scenes work well together. It probably did it already, but just to be sure. So while that's loading, I'm going to pop over into Pictor. And we only have about 45 minutes left, so I apologize if I go fast. one thing is you can watch the the recording of this video on 0.25 speed. I sound real slow, but you can keep up. I've been doing a lot of who here has heard of OpenClaw? Anyone? It's a pretty nerdy agentic AI system that I've been making sort of this second brain in. And I've been watching hours and hours of people speaking very quickly, making videos. So I feel your pain because I'm not a coder. So I've been like, watch, pause. And so you can slow me down on YouTube. Okay. So I'm going to go over here now and pop into our custom AI prompts. We're going to build our first prompt here. And I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to start with the starring clip. And I'm also going to say, even though we are using the same for each, it needs to be defined in all clips because of how we are rendering through the AI engine. Separate the video direction from the setting and aesthetic. So these are things that would take hours and hours to get this perfect. So when we leave today, I hope we have something very fun, but I don't think it's going to be the actual go ready prompt. So here we go. Now it's giving us the information we need for each one. Since I want the one where the person is the most important to us, I'm going to start there and then we'll check the other ones in a moment. So, okay, we want a modern here. Okay. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to select an image. I'm going to go to AI. Let's use our Eve. So, for those of you who have been reaching out asking about the optionality for the gender question, some really interesting facts that came through from our PBX events and also some of the other events that we've looked through on the OutSnap side. So, interestingly, when we first launched AI, that was our number one request was to include that. The tides of the world have changed a lot since then. No matter what side you stand on, that's a conversation for a different time and place. But interestingly, in the last about 10,000 uses of our AI prompts across the board, over 10% of people have chosen not male or female. So I think that's a really interesting thing for people to keep in mind as they're making those decisions because they're probably not watching how people are interacting. So I thought that was a really interesting takeaway of something that we realized recently. So let's drop this in. So this is a modern spy thriller, City at Night. And this actually did not do exactly what I wanted it to do, so I'm going to have to edit it. But modern spy city thriller at night environment with wet streets, light rain, cool blue and teal lighting with red and orange accents, lights, faint fog in the air, high contrast. Great. And let's now generate that image. Oops. I'm not going to use the correct Bourne spelling. I'm curious what's going to happen with the title. If you were born impossibly. I'm going to go back here and edit this real quickly and just say each of these prompts needs to exist on their own and should not reference one another. For the clip with the hero, define what they are doing in the video and in the setting of the scene. So if you think
says click and not clip.
what?
That says click and not clip.
It's hopefully smarter than I am,
Okay.
but thank you. So here we go. We got Eve in this scene. The scene looks right. Do we want it to be in a city or do we want it to be somewhere else? Adam, you look like you got thoughts.
City's fine. I think city's good.
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
We want to use Amsterdam proper. Okay, cool. Let's see if we can do that. And please move all clips to notable places in Amsterdam. So as we do this, think of your prompt as sort of setting the scene, your initial prompt, and then your video prompt to then be the director. So you'll have to experiment with using like things in both places, but really you want to set the scene in one and then direct the action in the other. And then, okay. Almost there. Clear. Setting an aesthetic. Cool. So this has some of the stuff that I want in the first one, talking about their clothing, etc. So I'm actually going to take all of this and put it right now here. I'm going to generate that image. We'll see what happens with Amsterdam. If I were doing this not in a demo, I would be reading each of these and like making sure it's exactly what I want. But we're starting to get a little tight on time to move this through. So I'm going to push through on it. And then we're going to, while that's going, take this video prompt here. And drop it down here. And I want to make sure, let's try this. Our subject is front and center, staring directly into the camera. And down here, it may sometimes focus secret agent in a dark. Let's try it one more time. Because we want to make sure we can see our secret agent. But here's Amsterdam very clearly. Any questions while we're waiting for this render? Nope. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Yeah, let's go.
Do you have a video somewhere of your setup, the applications, where you got them, something that can get some of us beginners started?
So what do you mean by the applications?
Well, some of these AI applications that you're using,
Oh,
I'm familiar with this. I'm really trying to learn about it.
yeah. So this is Pictor. This is our app right here. So this is all happening now in Pictor. This here where I was brainstorming is called Perplexity. And I'm happy to share a link to that and also Superwhisper. I'll put it in the comments of the video and also in the recap. So you'll get
Great.
those for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
But just so you know, if you have ChatGPT or Claude, you can do this in any of them. Perplexity is just mine of choice. But I'll share that for sure.
I have nothing set up.
Sounds good. So here we have that clip. I think it looks awesome. Now I'm just going to pull this here for our video prompt. And I'm going to go down here and pull this as well. And I'm going to now generate my video. I'm going to go low. One thing to note, we have low, medium, and high res. The way video is made is a little bit different. Well, it's actually not too different than a single image. The way the video is made is you have your context. This is what we want. And then it makes the first frame. And then it uses the first frame to then go ahead and make the second frame. And then the second frame to make the third frame. And vice versa. So the different ratios you use will really affect the output. as well as the quality of that first render. So if you start low res, some of these, like I find some of ours, I really actually like the low res outputs more than the high res, but you'll have to experiment with both. What I typically tend to do is work low res and then I'll do some medium and high reses and see what functions the best. But today we're probably going to stay in the low res zone. So while it's rendering out this video, I'm going to pop over here in just a new window, open this up, and let's start putting together our project rather than staring at the screen. So I'm going to go to my events tab. I'm going to create a new event. I'm going to call this Bourne Impossible Video Teaser. And I'm going to call this internal because we're going to use it to pitch a client. And I'm going to go ahead and start that. And I'm going to go to my flow stage. So for the sake of today's demo, we're not going to go into all of the different stages here. We have other demos on the flow stages, but just so you know, we have the global style settings. And this is where you can change the look and feel of the entire guest experience. So we talk about two things. There's the PBO, you as the photo booth company, and then the guest experience. And we design for both of those on this side. So this is what controls the look and feel of what your guests see, whether that's colors or logos, etc. We have the ability to simulate this. And we also have our our global text, which is a really cool feature. We're not going to get into that today, but we'll do a whole demo on that another day as well. So while we're waiting for that render, let's see where it is. Oh, it's come through. Let's see. So we're losing a little bit of likeness because of the way it's cutting between multiples. And that's what I mean as we do these different frames, we're going to lose some stuff. So I'm not going to optimize for likeness today because we just quite frankly don't have time. So I'm going to go ahead and use this prompt setting because you'll still get the idea of what we're doing. And now I'm going to go back over here. Let's save this. And we're going to make just the starring clip because we're tight on time now. And I'm going to pull this, and it's very important that for the starring clip, there's no people in it and there's no other text other than starring. So I do need to choose someone here. I'm going to go into this and I'm going to go run this. And then I'm going to say Bourne Impossible starring clip. And I'm going to save this and we'll generate that out in a moment. So I'm going to go here to add a new template. So this is a flow stage for the experiences. I'm going to create a template. We are going to, for the sake of this, because I'm creating some square B-roll, use a 1x1. And I'm going to now start by taking one capture. And we can determine or decide if we want the capture to live or not in the real output. I personally like having the original photo appear, but it's optional. So as we add the AI video, we'll select that prompt for our custom Bourne starring clip. And I'm going to go ahead and now, in this case, hide the original. I'm going to make this 1080 by 1080, and it's going to exist at 0, 0. Whoops, let's go 1600 as a square here. And now down here on the timeline, for anyone who's used like an iMovie, very similar. We have our original capture, which is actually invisible at the moment. We have our output, which is going to be 10 seconds. And I know we are going to be having that other B-roll coming in. So for the time being, I'm going to make it 10 seconds. And we're going to move this capture to the end. I'm going to call this Bourne Impossible, the 1.0. And now let's pop back over here and see. So we have our starring. And now I'm going to go ahead and generate that video to get our A-roll, or our B-roll. I'll say the wrong thing over and over again. One thing we also need to do is I'm going to save these changes, close this, and because we're going to have custom text, we do need to add a survey. And I'm going to grab the survey here, add a question. This will be open text. What's your name? We can do a 40 character limit, save this, pop back over here. I should have done that first, but I didn't. And we are going to have, once again, have a text here. And we're going to go ahead and take this text and we're actually going to connect it to the survey. So now anything that was answered in that survey is going to be what comes through. So does anyone have a favorite action font that they can think of off the top of their head? Cherie? You're probably the go-to for fonts.
Anything but Comic Sans, please.
Okay, we have all the Google fonts. Maybe we'll use Oswald. And
He is my favorite Disneyland character.
well, there we go. And I think a semi-bold looks nice. And depending on that output that we see in a moment, I'm going to center this up and I'm going to probably go 100 on this. And let's see if we got that output yet. So here we go, starring. And we're going to maybe do it in like a white silver. So I'm going to save this video clip. I'm going to open it in a new tab and save it to my desktop. And we will use that in a moment, you'll see. And I'm going to go ahead and make this white. And I'm going to put it around here. And we'll have to massage this as well based on where it lands with that starring clip that we'll see in a moment. And now I'm going to go to my videos and I'm going to add a video and I'm going to upload that B-roll we just made. Great. So now we have the first 5 seconds. And then we have our second 5 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and make this once again. I love doing this with math, but you can drag and drop these. If you hold the shift key down, it keeps the ratio. I come from the world of print design, so I'm just used to doing things with math. So when we built this, it was very important to me that we could just very easily throw some numbers in there and get this exactly where we want. So next up, if we go to our layers, we have our text and we want to put this above. So we can get an idea of what this looks like. We're going to pull this text in to be just shy and just shy. So we get a little bit of that starring first. And let's take a peek from the top. So starring, celebrity name, then cut to existing action video. So let's save this. Does everyone follow what we did there? Does anyone have any questions? I'll talk it through one more time. So we have the clip that we made, that we manufactured here and saved. I do this in Pictor, but you could do this in any video tool, or you could buy that video off of Adobe stock, for example. And then I've added in the custom text from the survey. And then I have the video output. I'm going to put this initial capture, which is hidden behind everything. And one other thing that you can do for fun, good measure, I love doing this, is just a transition. And I'll show you how to do this quickly. So I have some video assets that I've created before, and this is just a quick wash that you can use. And I normally do not recommend changing and squishing different ratios, but for the sake of this, it actually works because it's just a quick color flash. And the way this works, who here is familiar with transparency layers in Photoshop? Okay, nay, Cherie? So one thing that we did in Pictor, and I think we're the only software that has this, is we've included blend modes, which allows us to just simply lighten. So now anything in this that is lighter than what's on the screen disappears. So we can now use this as a very quick way to transition between the A roll and B roll. So you'll see it's going to hit that bright spot right around here. So we're going to move that here. We want that essentially to happen here and then cut into the other video. So that's a really nice, clean, and easy way to get a really cool looking transition. I think it cost me 5 tokens on Adobe stock to get that. So go ahead and save this. And now let's bop over to our live simulator. So for those of you who are like me or probably lazy, my photo booths typically do not make it into the same room where I'm preparing these things. And the last thing I want to do at 11 p.m. when I've procrastinated is run to the car to get a photo booth. So you can actually test all of these things in a live simulator. In our next version of the flow stages, you're actually going to be able to simulate these things in real time as you're building them. So it'll be side by side. And one of the things that we really think about when we're designing things at Pictor is how to shave off seconds, which turn into minutes, which turn into hours. So even the time switching between tabs is something that we're trying to eliminate. I'm going to call this Nick Rhodes. We're going to get to see me starring. Here I go. Let's see what happens. And I didn't set up any of the other flow stages, so that's going to upload. And if we go back over here, we'll see in our sessions that this is already hit and it's starting to go through. As we do that, I'm going to show you one more of these so we're not just staring at the screen. Let's go here and just pull one more. Let's do this last action clip. So that way we can have a clip at the end too, just so everyone gets an idea of what's possible. And does anyone have any questions at this point? I've thrown a lot at you. There's a lot to see. So no questions? You guys could all do this on your own?
So I do have a question.
Yes.
You have demonstrations of some of this product that you put out there for the photo booths? Because this is amazing.
Oh,
For-
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we do have, we have a YouTube channel that has almost every show and tell we've done. We occasionally will do things where it's like an open roundtable where we're going to show you things we're building. And we don't put those out as recaps just because, you know, we were the first people to bring AI to the industry about 4 years ago and people have followed suit. We are the first person to connect with a CRM and other people are, you know, announcing and copying those things. So we try to share as much as we can while still keeping some secrets. But yes, there's a ton of things that you can get on the YouTube channel, which I'll share a link to, as well as our support documentation. And there's also a lot of one-click things that you can do in the app itself, which I can show you as well.
Well, the other question is, I notice this is normally what you've done today has been normally one person. Do you have this where you can have 2, 3, 4 people?
Yeah. So there's a few different ways to answer that question, right? So if you were to have 4 people take different selfies, you can then combine them into one. So for example, using like the Brady Bunch, you could create a clip where you have 4 selfies and then you have 4 people on screen at the exact same time. There's a lot of ways that we've set up our template editor. So this has come back. I'm just going to open this here. Let's see how this looks. And then we can answer your question in a moment. So it says starring Nick Rhodes. And now, whoops, I messed something up because we have the starring clip twice. So we'll go back and fix that in a moment. But to answer your question, and this is actually a good time to show you something like that, we could, for example, in our template, have these sitting side by side, right? So actually, let's just make a new template really quickly to show you what I mean. So we could add a new template. Let's create a template and let's make it 9 by 16. Let's go ahead and add in one capture. We're going to change that capture to be the ratio of a 1:1. I'm going to add now an AI video to that capture. So this is one thing that's not intuitive. It's counterintuitive. We don't turn video into AI video because it would be astronomically expensive. We turn a still image into an AI video. So that's why that's under that. Let's select a prompt. We're going to go to our custom prompt. And we're going to do Bourne Impossible. And this is going to be now down here. And I'm going to take my existing video that I uploaded already with starring. And I'm going to put that up here. I'm going to move the layer. So this is below. I'm going to hide this original. I'm going to pull text, which we can't see up here because it's black. I'm going to now turn this into the survey text. I'm going to knock this out in white. I'm going to find a font over here that is a little bit more exciting than the last one we chose. I was disappointed in my decision, I'll be honest, when I saw it. Let's see what we got here. Space Grotesque, let's see what we got. No, I'm looking for something with like, this is me, this is the inner designer in me that just like can't let it be for a demo. I have to like show you the thing. I want something that's like heavy and also has a nice, let's just leave it. I could do this for hours, sorry. And I'm going to make it all uppercase. And now I'm going to pop it up here. And I'm going to center this. And I'm going to increase that weight a little bit. And then also one other thing to note is I could, if I wanted to, create another AI output from the same original input. I'm not going to do it here because I want to walk through this, but that's a whole other demo in and of itself. So you could take one selfie and make a whole bunch of different outputs. So from one selfie, you could put together, the person running down the street, a person holding a gun, all from one photo. And I'm going to reduce this actually just to 5 seconds because I know our clip is 5. Save.
Hey, Nick.
Yes.
Lisa and I were texting. Our view is so pixelated of your screen share when you get into those back end, and it's really difficult to see what you're doing. I don't know but I see you fine in your like video image of yourself, but just the screen share, I'm having a difficult time like knowing what you're doing or where you are because I can't see the details.
Gotcha. I appreciate that feedback. I will look into that. I'm on my Verizon and I have good internet for once, but I don't know why it is doing that. So we will look into ways to do that. I know in the video recordings, it won't be that way. So hopefully, in the recap, if you watch step by step, you'll be able to see it, but I will be a little bit more verbose as I go through it.
Yeah, it looks
I guess
perfect
it's
on our end.
It was just for the last 5 minutes.
Gotcha. But Abel, you can see it clearly on your side?
I can see it perfectly.
Gotcha. Okay. So not on your side, Kebra? Gotcha. Well, interestingly, I think it's likely a Zoom thing if some people are seeing it well and others are not. But that's good to know, and I'll make sure in the video recap that it is visible and easy to see.
It seems to sharpen up as you stay still, but as you're moving around, that's when it really goes back to that. So I was curious if it was a setting.
Gotcha. No, I don't think it is, unfortunately. So him, and we'll finish that. And then while that's rendering, let's pop back over here. I wish it had said coming to a theater near you soon, but pretty great nonetheless, right? Let's see if I can say it's coming. It's just shortened to soon. Okay, and let's go ahead and generate that video one more time. And maybe we'll bump it up to a higher res to see if we can get that video output. So The text for the most part is great. It is AI, so you may get one render that's pretty crummy, but most of them should be on point. So this will be our outro that we'll go back and put in place if we have time. And then let's bop back over here. Let me actually just check one thing, Cherie. Let me share. Is that any better? Yes? Okay. So I was optimized for video, but perhaps this will be better overall.
It rendered very quick this time on
Okay.
screen share, so.
Right. So this is rendering out now. We're going to see my big theatrical moment. Does anyone have any questions on how the custom prompt editor currently works? No? Some things that I'm really excited about, and since you're here this week, you get to know next week we're going to be releasing. It's in QA this week. I'm really excited about it. Our interim, so it's not our fully beautifully redesigned visually prompt editor, but it is going to give you 100% access to reference images. I know Rick has been very excited about that. So once again, these are things that we've had in Pictor since day one, but people didn't know what they were and how to use them. And now that we have a lot more access to these tools, we have a better understanding. So we're releasing them on the front end. And surveys, I think, are also going to be ready for that too, Rick. I don't want to promise surveys for next week, but it's coming very soon. And then sometime in Q2, our beautiful redesign. I can't wait to show you guys. It looks so beautiful. So if you have gripes about the UX UI, now's the time to bring them up, because once we rebuild it, I'm no longer open to gripes about the UX UI. I'm just kidding. I'm always open to gripes. So I'm going to save this new clip as our outro.
As you're saving that, can I ask a question? Is there a possibility to do video overlays so that you do your own text, or is it all like you just have to use whatever it renders?
100%. Do you remember the video that we did? Sorry, how I'd put the transition overlay on it?
Yes.
So you can do video that way too. If the easiest way to do
Okay.
it is if you make your image black, or so your video black with white text or lighter text, you can knock out the background of it immediately.
Okay.
And so let's see if this is done. And here we are, my big screen debut. So here I am. The likeness isn't perfect on it, but you get the idea of this. If I were to do this myself, I would make sure that we weren't cutting between different scenes, because when we're cutting, the way that AI video is made, it doesn't have a reference image anymore. So I would continue from just one clip. I would say something to the effect of like action shot of person keeping contact with the camera, etc. But here you get the idea of our custom text that I put in with the prompt. We could add a drop shadow on it, things like that. We will, in theory, be able to put that text into an AI video clip with a survey, although I'm not 150% sure I would trust that just yet, to be honest with you, as you saw with that coming soon. So let's bop back over here and let's finish up that first clip that we worked on together.
Can you throw my
Oh.
face on there?
Can I throw your face on there?
Yeah.
Yes, in theory. But I'm going to need to take a selfie of you, or if you drop a selfie of you in the chat, we could use it.
Okay.
Cool.
Hey,
Or
Nick, would
actually, you know what we can do? I will give you a virtual booth of this before we leave so you can see how that works as well. And you'll be able to take a selfie of yourself from your own phone.
Nick, would the AI benefit from having like a profile photo as well? So if you do a headshot and then a side profile?
The way we're set up at this point, yeah, the short answer is yes. But the way we're set up, we're always trying to figure out the ease of the event experience, right? You don't want someone to have to take a lot of photos. We have something in beta that we've been testing for how to get more images of people. The short answer is that we take images before and after the actual image is taken. So during the countdown, we're taking some data as well. And the way it's set up is like even the slightest amount of change is actually better than a full profile. So there are some things in the works on that front, but I don't want to say when they're coming out because they're still very experimental. So bouncing back over here, I made a mess of this before, and instead of trying to troubleshoot what's here, I'm going to remove stuff and then pop it back in just quickly. And that'll actually be helpful for everyone to understand everything one more time. I'm just deleting stuff off of this. Okay, so we're going to go 1-1. We're going to start with our starring clip. We're going to cut to our AI clip, and then we are going to go to our outro. I'm going to simplify, if we're going to share this with you guys, what this is so we can try and get something really cool before we leave. Please simplify the hero moment to ensure that we do not have cuts to different shots. We want the hero face and eyes locked into the camera at all times. We also want to preserve the likeness of the selfie of myself I upload. This is another thing. A lot of these AI things will be like, you can't upload a photo of someone else. So I just say a selfie of myself, and that'll work there. Oh, we have some people joining us now for the very end. So I'm going to pop over here real quickly, and I'm going to show you how you can update an existing prompt already. I'm going to select my test image again. We'll go with Eve. And the goal here is to keep us from cutting so we preserve the likeness of the person we upload. And so I'm going to pull this. And once again, I should really read this and make it better, but I want to drop it in while we're doing some other stuff. So I'm going to now pull my first video. So I'm going to go to videos, add video. And remember, this is our starring clip. We didn't get our title sequence in, but that's everybody's homework, is to make a title sequence, and we can drop it in next week. So this is starring. We do know that our video clip is going to be 15 seconds long because now we have 3 5-second clips. We are going to add in our text, which is going to be white. We're going to tokenize that. And if you didn't want to put starring in this, you could add the word, starring here so it stays in the exact same font. I just liked adding it above because we have some quick animation to it and it gives it a little bit of action. I'm going to not obsess over which fonts. I'm just going to play spin the bottle here. Let's do Rowdy's, see what we got. Rowdy's bold wins. Let's go uppercase. Let's go 100 here. I'm going to save this. I save a lot because I also accidentally do stupid things a lot, like accidentally refresh. And I want it to say starring. We got it in the right place. I want the frame to start without the name. So I'm going to drop that in at roughly 1 second. And I'm going to close that up to just before the end. I'm going to now save once again. I'm going to bounce over here and see if we have a better output. I'm going to generate this video while we are chit-chatting some more. So I'm going to now add in my end video, which we have. So uploading that from my desktop, which is the coming soon video. And so, pop quiz, where do we want this video? What time do we want it to start on the timeline? Lisa?
I don't know, 2 seconds in?
Nope. 10 seconds because we're going to
Okay,
do
10 seconds.
5-second intro, the starring clip, and then the outro. Once again, I can go ahead and drag and drop this, or I can do it by math. So I'm going to do it by math here. Great. I'm going to pop this below. And now when I play this, we have our starring clip. Then this is where our A-roll is going to go, and our coming soon clip. So let's see where we got on this video. Oh, I don't think I did generate video. Anyhow, I'm going to use this prompt, and we're gonna gamble on it and see what happens. Save. Oh, let me just show you one other thing. So we can actually set the thumbnail as well to that and use this prompt. And now going back over here, we want to add a capture. We want to add an AI AI video to this. We're going to create custom prompt. Oops, that's incorrect. We could have done that in here. I'm going to go to select prompt, and I'm going to go to Bourne Impossible. This one you see here is our B-roll. We don't want to use that or else it wouldn't actually have the person in it. I'm going to hide the original. I'm going to move this capture down below, and I have my AI video, which is going to start at roughly 5 seconds. So what I'm going to do here, just to make this a little bit sloppy, I'm going to shorten us to 14 seconds so I can have some overlap here on each of these. And I want my star moment to be the longer one, and then the outro to be over here. And then what we have in essence is starring, the name, our hero clip, and then the outro. So it's hidden. And then the one thing we need to do with our clip here is we actually want to go ahead and make this 1600 by 1600 at 00. Let me caught that. And then, did everyone get the overlay, or do you want me to show you another overlay transition real quick? And this goes back to Cherie's question about how you could add text.
Does it blend from one, like, do you have to put in a note to fade between clips?
I come from the old school way of editing film, like literally like cutting things and splicing them together. So we haven't added into our optionality the ability to fade between things, but you can do it currently by putting an overlay on with different blend modes, which is how you would have done it historically. So once again, I'll just show this quick. So for video, and I'll show a different example that's a little bit easier to wrap your head around. So in this video assets, you'll see I have this sort of like paparazzi filter. I can add this to the top layer. And so this paparazzi filter now, you'll see it's black with lights on it. So the same way we would use this, I can take this and add a blend mode to it. And that blend mode that I want to use here is Lighten. So as soon as I hit Lighten, you're going to see the blacks disappear, and you're only going to see the flashes. So if you wanted to do a fade, you would use the same technology. You would use white to black or black to white. So I'm just going to leave this over here. Why not? So you can see what it does. Maybe we have it so it is over the starring primarily. Save that. And then I'll add another transition in so you have an idea of how that works again. So the video, add video, my transition, add that in. And so once again, the goal here is when we play this, we want the white part to be right where we cut to the other clip. So that's pretty much right here. And I'm going to use my positioning once again to do 1600, 00. And blend mode on this is to lighten. If we didn't multiply, it would be the opposite, where only the dark parts show up. So I'm going to go to lighten, and now you'll see that this transition between is going to go into that new clip. I can duplicate this out, so we could use the same transition here, going between these two as well. And we want to line that up with approximately the white part being right here. So I'm going to bump this over. So we want to get...
This episode, I thought this was walking through,
cool. Over a teeny bit. And then once again, use the position tool on this to put that at 0, 0. So save. So let's go back up to the top here. Yeah. No offense. I'm going to mute whomever was chatting. You can take yourself off mute if you would like to say anything. And just to play through this again, so we have our A roll, the starring text, the transition to the live video. Sorry, that's actually the A roll, the transition to now this output, the coming soon output. And let's... Oops, I shortened that way too much. There we go. And the moment of truth, we can all find out together how well that prompt came out. So I'm going to go into my outputs here. I'm going to turn on my virtual booth. I'm going to save that. And mind you, this has no branding on it currently, but we're going to have this virtual booth link. Oh, I need to add an ability for you to email this to yourself. So let's add a share flow stage. And we have the ability to share via email or text message. We'll do email here, and we're not going to use HTML email, but we will include the output in the email. Great. Save that. And it's party time. Let's see if this works. So everyone pull out your phones and scan this QR code, not this QR code. Let me make it easier for you guys by hiding the wrong QR code. So scan this one.
Okay.
Again, just to recap, we went through creating a pretty awesome video experience today, and then we shared the virtual booth with everyone to try. And now I'm going to walk you through the virtual booth experience as well. So here we are with the virtual booth. I'm going to tap through it. I can enter in this case, my name, because that is going to be, I'll just do my first name. That's going to be the customizable text. I can take a selfie. I can then go ahead and this and put in my email address, submit it, and then that's going to start to populate. While that renders, I'm going to pull over into this, our live slideshow, which shows the images as they're being made. So we're going to see some of these samples here now. So here we are. Here's my silly large spy gear. And I just wanted to thank everybody for coming and spending the afternoon with us. I know everybody's super, super busy. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We can't wait to see what you create with Pictor. Thanks so much.